Hello, my name is Mr. Antonio, and I would like to show Key Stage 3 students how to make a rocket. So, first things first, we start with this copper pipe. This copper pipe is the same exact size copper pipe that you are going to be using to launch your rocket with. So we want our rocket to fit around this pipe. So first I choose a piece of paper. This size is A4, an A4 sheet of paper, and this will give me a rocket that I can either roll the short way and make a smaller rocket, or I can roll it the long way and make a longer rocket. Now this is the same as if I were to use an A3 piece of paper, except obviously I would have a taller or a shorter or longer rocket than the A4 piece of paper. So let me show you what I would do. Take my metal copper pipe. I'm going to choose to make a shorter rocket right now, and I wrap it around here until, keep wrapping it. Okay, now once I've finished, you can see that it's not very even. It's a bit off, so I'm going to tap it down and tighten it up a bit, like so. And now when I put this on, I would say it's probably a bit loose. So I'm actually going to try to wrap it even tighter, because I know that if it's loose, air will leak out of my rocket, and that air is needed to give me the highest velocity possible. So I'm going to roll it again, and I have to make sure if I can't remove this copper pipe, it's much too tight. If I can't remove the pipe, it's much too tight. Ooh, nice rhyme. Okay, there we go. That looks a lot better. There's less air, still a little bit of air that will leak out, maybe possibly right there, but not bad. So now, if I'm happy with this, I'm going to take a couple pieces of tape. I'm going to tape my rocket. Now, I get annoyed even when that paper is standing up. So I am going to go one step further. I'm not going to finish it now, but you can finish this. I'm going to tape that down and make it look really smooth, because rockets we want to make streamlined and aerodynamic. That could create some drag for my rocket. I'm going to test that the pipe fits in there pretty nicely. Now the whole point of the pipe fitting inside of this rocket base is so that it can also fit on top of this launcher at some point. So you can see, because I fitted it on the other pipe, it fits on top of this pipe quite nicely. And if I wanted a longer rocket, that's fine. An A3 piece of paper would have worked just fine. So that is how to create your rocket base. This is Mr. Antonio signing off. Hello students, it's Mr. Antonio again, and I would like to show you how to create a tip for your rocket. So what I did was I took a round circle, something to make a perfect circle, and I chose the inside of this roll of tape. And when I did that, it looked a little something like this. Then I used a pair of scissors to cut out that circle, and you can see this piece of paper is now missing a circle. So let me show you that circle. That circle is right here. So now the last step I'm going to do is, I don't want to fold this completely, but I want to try to kind of get a line in the middle. And now I can kind of see a line has formed in the middle. So I'm going to take my scissors and cut halfway into that line, like so. And now that I've done that, I can start to twist this around. The more I twist it, and twist it, and twist it, I make a little rocket tip. So cute. It's so cute. So a little rocket tip. Then if I put that rocket tip on here, I can decide if that's the tip that I want, or if I want to make a bigger circle and I have a longer point, I could do that. Or I could roll this, so see how it doesn't quite fit perfectly? I could say, oh, no, not good enough. I'm gonna have to roll it a little tighter. So now it got a little bit bigger and it fits on a little bit better. So if that's the tip that I would like, now remember that was just an example. I just chose the closest thing to me, which was this roll of tape. Okay, then I'm going to start taping this so it won't come undone. So now it's kind of like a little hat, a wizard's hat. I'm going to put it on top. I'm going to grab some more of this tape and attach it to the top of my rocket. So as you can see, I've placed it on the top. Now there is going to be a lot of pressure on this rocket. You can see my rocket top is not straight. It is crooked to the right a bit. So I don't want that. So I'm going to end up straightening it up, and I'm going to add much more tape here. When my son produced one of these rockets, and when we pushed all the air through it one time, the rocket busted off sideways like this, and his rocket went nowhere. So you do not want a weakly placed rocket top. Well, that's all for this video. This is Mr. Antonio, signing off once again. Hello, Keyside 3. It's Mr. Antonio here again, and I would like to show you how to produce the fins on your rocket. As you know, rockets often have fins at the bottom. That helps them fly straighter and higher than they otherwise would, and especially straighter. So when this rocket goes off, if I want it to go the highest possible, if I wanted to get it to the highest possible height, I would need to make sure it's going straight up. And so if I fire this without any fins on it, it's going to want to go to the right, to the left, and that means I don't get maximum height. So to do this, you have to decide on some fins, what shape your fins are going to be. Do you want your fins to be a little bit thicker paper or thinner paper? Do you want your fins to be circular, rectangular? So as an example, I've got my piece of paper here, and I will just quickly cut out a fin. So let's pretend that I would like a fin that looks something like this. This is a typical fin that you see. Now you'd wonder, why did I make this piece here? Well, if I put this down and fold it, now you see that I have a spot to apply glue or tape to. So right here, if I wanted to put this fin on like this, I have a nice place to apply the fin. Otherwise, it's really hard to glue the fins on. So if I were to tape this on, like that. Now, is that enough? Absolutely not. The fin's going to go do that. So what I want to do is also apply a bit of tape on the back side. There. Now my fin is quite strong. It's a bit curvy, but you get the picture. So one fin is not enough. Is 2 fins enough? Is 3 fins enough? Are 3 fins enough? Are 4 fins enough? Are 5 fins enough? And again, what is the shape? Is it better to put another fin here and another fin here and here, so fins here and fins here? That's up to you to decide. And when we test them and launch them to space, you will discover whose rocket really is the best. So again, this is Mr. Antonio, signing off. As you guessed, you probably know where I work. FSF, that is the Fukuoka School Foundation. FSF. So, all my students, see you in a bit. Bye. Hello students, just one last reminder or note. When your rocket is finished, now this is not a finished rocket, although it has the point, one fin, and the body of the rocket, I would suggest putting more fins onto your rocket, or attaching the point, doing a much better job than I did, and also possibly putting additional fins. It is up to you. Then I would suggest putting your name and decorations onto the rocket. So you could put different colored tape, because that would affect the weight. So do you want your tip to be heavier? Should it be lighter? Should the base be heavier? Should it be lighter? So you can add things that will distribute weight differently on your rocket, which could affect the height of your rocket. And of course, this will be a competition. So we will be able to determine whose rocket went the highest, and more importantly, what was so special about their rocket that sent it soaring above the others. What did they do differently that you did not do? So it's not so much about a winner or a loser, but it's more about trying to create a rocket that is trying to get to the bottom of how to make the highest flying rocket. So we can examine and dissect the winning rocket and figure out what they did differently to achieve such amazing heights. Now, as you can see in the background, there is an SFS yearbook that belongs to one of my friends who works at SFS. But again, Mr. Antonio does not work at SFS. He works at FSF. Okay, that's all for tonight. Now, best of luck. Shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you will always aim amongst the stars. Inspirational quote to get your rockets going.